So we are adding and subtracting unlike fractions. Remember on Friday we did fractions that had the same denominator. So we're going to go ahead and just go through this pretty quickly. Number 1, 7/15 plus 1/5. What is the common denominator between 15 and 5? Well, when in doubt, you can just always multiply them together. But I know that 5 goes into 15, so I'm going to make it 7/15 plus, this is going to be over 15 as well. I multiply this by 3 and that by 3, so we get 3, add them together, and you get 10/15. Now, is that in simplest form? No. So the final answer, when you take a 5 out of each of them, is 2/3. Number 2 says -2. What? All right, so let's go ahead and do keep change opposite on number 2. And since they're both negatives, we know that we're really going to be adding them. So, yeah, I would write this stuff down. Probably pretty important. 12 is a common denominator. We're going to multiply this by 4, that by 4, so it's -8. And then this by 3 and that by 3, which is -9. And we get -17/12. And as long as you leave it as a reduced improper fraction, I don't care, and that is reduced. Okay. Number 3, we're going to do keep change opposite on that as well. And we know we're really going to be subtracting these. So common denominator, I'm going to use 20. You could have used 40. It's just, you're just going to have to reduce. So I'm going to multiply that by 5 and that by 5. So I get 5/20 plus negative, let's see, 10 times 2. 3 times 2, that's -6, right? So when we subtract them, we get -1/20. When you get into mixed numbers like number 4, I leave them as mixed numbers. I think it's easier that way. We're going to subtract the 5 and 1/6 goes on top, and we're going to subtract the 2 and 3/10. The common denominator is going to be, what, 30? Okay, so 6 times 5 is 30, so 1 times 5 is 5. Then this is -2, and that was a 5. And then that's going to be 30, so it's 9, right? Times 3 times 3. Can I take 9 from 5? I sure can't. So I need to borrow from the 5, make it a 4. Now my pen's not working. And I don't know what's going on. That's a 4. Hang on a second. Add those two together, 35 minus 9. 26/30. 4 minus 2 is 2. And we keep the sign of the negative. And we can reduce that, which is -2 and 13/15. Does everybody agree? We are going to look at -x/8 plus x/12. And always remember there's 1s in front of here, in front of each x. Common denominator between 8 and 12 is going to be, I'm going to use 24. So I know I'm really going to subtract these, but I want to get my common denominator first. 8 times 3 is 24, so that's -3x. 12 times 2, so that's times 2, and that's 2x. Now I know I can subtract. I'm going to have 3x minus 2x, which is 1x, or x, over 24. And then I keep the sign of the 3, which is negative. So my answer is -x/24. Remember, you can put the 1 in there if you want. You could also have the negative and then out front It could be in the numerator or it can be in the denominator. It just can't be in both spots. Look at number 7. I'm going to keep change opposite again on number 7. And I'm going to put a 1 in front. I know I'm really going to add these, but I've got to get a common denominator between 8 and 11. Well, when in doubt, I can always multiply them together, right? So I'm going to use 88. So 11 times 8, that's times 8, that's negative 72R, plus that times 11, that times 11 is negative 11R over 88. Since they're both negatives, I'm going to add them together and I get negative 83R over 88. Okay? So we really only have one more problem to do. So negative 5W over 12 plus 7W over 9. Common denominator between 12 and 9. I always look at the biggest denominator and say, okay, 12. Does 9 go into it evenly? No, it sure doesn't. So then I get the next multiple of it, which is 24. 9 does not go into 24 either, so I get the next multiple, which is 36. Does 9 go into 36 evenly? Yep. So we're going to make these out of 36. 12 times 3 is 36, so negative 5W times 3 is negative 15W. Plus, and this is times 4, that's going to be 28W. And then we are really going to subtract, so 28W minus 15W is 13W over 36. Does that reduce?